Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. So, I am here for part three of my series of posts that I have been putting up for the past 3 days now, actually. So, on Monday, I shared a quote regarding, or a post rather, about just sharing MLK quotes in honor of the holiday, but then not really doing the work of equity and justice, which he was murdered for. And I didn't want to just leave things right there. So yesterday I did a video on 5 steps that organizations can take in order to be involved in the work of equity and justice. And today I'm talking about 3 steps that individuals can specifically take. My name is Sherry Wary. I am the CEO and empowerment strategist of Wary Consultations LLC. I specialize in empowering women and youth to be their best selves and manifest their full potential through personal, professional, and spiritual development. I'm the author of 2 books, a speaker, and a life coach. I provide assistance to individuals on a one-on-one basis as well. And I'm passionate about justice. I'm passionate about individuals who are underserved and underrepresented getting equal access to opportunity in order to live fulfilled lives. And so this is why I have been posting about this for the past few days. And so if you want to get caught up, you can just scroll back to see your previous videos for those of you who will be watching this on YouTube. And then for those of you who are watching this on LinkedIn, you can actually just scroll back to see just my previous post by going under the activity section on my LinkedIn profile. So let's jump right into it. I only have 3 steps for individuals. These steps are not exclusive. It's that there are definitely additional steps you can take, just like with the video that I posted yesterday, 4 tips for organizations to take. There are definitely more than 5 steps you can take in this organization. Again, there's more than 3 steps you can take as an individual. This is just a starting place for those who are new to this process and new to really getting involved in work of equity and justice. One last thing I also want to mention before I jump into the 3 tips is that you're going to hear me talk a lot about equity as opposed to equality. Equality does not take into consideration the historical context that needs to be considered when you're trying to remedy any current issue. And so that's why I talk about equity, because equity comes from a perspective of context in order to really provide a solution that works. All right, so first step that I have that you can take personally as an individual is to understand the historical context of what is happening today. No issue that we see within our society, whether that's in a professional context, educational, social context, housing, or any other context that we want to examine, it's not happening in silos. It is connected to other issues that have now been in place for tens, hundreds, or even centuries. And so you really want to make sure that you're understanding context. When we're looking at what's happening here in the US specifically, we have to look at the context of what happened when individuals started coming over here to colonize portions of the United States. We have to look at what was written in the Constitution when our founding founders started off with founding this country. We have to look at what happened between colonizers and indigenous people who were already here living on this land. We have to look at the transatlantic slave trade and look at the policies and the laws and the systems that were in place when it comes to how Black people were treated here in this country. And so you have to start off with doing your research and understanding historical context. Now, I want to provide an example for those of you who may be intimidated or feel like it's not necessary to understand historical context because it's like, oh, that's just the past, just get over it. Let's say you decide that you want to build a home from the ground up and you want to rush through the process because you're just excited about owning your home, building it from the ground up, and putting in your own personal touches for how you want this home to look like, right? In your own living experience. And so you decide to rush through and do a shady job on the foundation. You don't really take the time to go through all of the proper steps. You rush through it. And so subsequently, your foundation is really not as strong as it needs to be so that your house can last, your home can last. And so you rush through the process of setting the foundation, you rush through the process of putting up the framework even for the home. And so you're really not building a strong foundation, you're not building a strong framework either. But Now that you have all that together, you go and you deck out your house, right? You deck out your home and you have your personal touches on the cabinetry and how many rooms you want to have in a home and all the furniture. And so it looks amazing inside, right? And so then you move in, you're excited, and you are loving your experience. And then let's say 5 or 10 years later, you decide that you want to upgrade your home because there are different trends that are out when it comes to decoration and layouts of how you design your home. So you decide to do updates in your home, right? And so let's say you go in and do these upgrades and now you're really excited. And then 20, 30 years from now, you have children, you have grandchildren, and let's say you want to give your home to one of them or pass that on and they come and live in. And now they decide to do additional upgrades as well because, hey, what was in when you were designing and doing the upgrades is no longer in. And it also doesn't fit the personality and the desires of your grandchild, for instance, who's now living in that home. Well, they go in and make the upgrades, and guess what? 30 years later, they start having some really serious issues that they have to rectify because what happened? The foundation was not put in right from the get-go. The foundation was decent. It allowed you to be able to live in a home for 20, 30 years, however long you were there before now you pass it on to your grandchild. You even made updates and you made improvements and you enjoyed your living experience. But the truth of the matter is that your foundation was rotting and it was affecting other things now within your home because you didn't take the time to really put the foundation in place like you need to be. That's what you really are trying to understand when it comes to understanding the historical context of social issues that we see playing out with our society today. Things that not just play out or come into being a problem just because of the murder of Ahmaud Arbery or the murder of Breonna Taylor or the murder of George Floyd. There were problems, there were issues that were happening in this country that started off from the very beginning. And so it's really important for you to take the time to really understand historical context to be able to have the full understanding of what is happening today, what is happening in the past, and what is needed in order to move forward. Secondly, you want to engage and seek out different perspectives. Now, with this tip of engaging and seeking out different perspectives, your first goal isn't necessarily agreement. Because you're seeking out something new, it may seem counterintuitive. It may seem completely off base. It may not even make sense initially, right? And I'm not saying that once you continue to seek out things that you're going to automatically agree with everything. That may not be the case. And I'm going to be honest and say I don't believe that's 100% necessary, right? Your goal with engaging and seeking out new perspectives is at least to have awareness, because once you have awareness that there's other things happening outside of your own realm of influence, your own realm of experience, then that allows you have the capacity to continue to engage different perspectives and to become more aware. And that awareness could lead to agreement. And here's the thing. Even if you don't agree, that still doesn't mean that you can't still fight for equity and justice. You may not agree with every single perspective that's out there. We're all human beings. We all have different perspectives. We're not meant to be a monolith. And so I definitely don't want to push this narrative of us all just becoming a melting pot or becoming exactly the same. But ultimately, engaging in and seeking out different perspectives, different experiences is so that you can become aware. And then that awareness can lead to an engagement so that you can then start the process of fighting for equity and justice for marginalized communities here in the US and also around the world as well. And then thirdly, you want to have compassion for others and for yourself as well. You want to have compassion for other people's experience, even if you don't understand, even though you may not be familiar with it. And then you also want to have compassion for yourself because just like Rome wasn't built in a day, you're not going to fully understand the issues of equity and justice in one day. And to be completely honest, it's an ever-evolving issue. It's an ever-evolving topic. And so it's just important to stay engaged, to be aware of other perspectives so that you can be part of this fight for equity and justice. So that is my final installment of this whole discussion when it comes to moving beyond the quotes of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and doing the true work of equity and justice. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop those in the chat. Only thing I ask is that you remain respectful of other people's perspectives and agreements, or perspectives and perspectives. You don't necessarily have to agree, but we do need to share with each other from a place of respect and dignity. So thank you so much for joining me on today. Again, you can go back and check the other installments that I did. You can check out my post that I put on Monday or put up Monday. And then you can also check out the video that I posted yesterday with tips for organizations. And you can always connect with me here on YouTube or LinkedIn. You can shoot me a message. Check out my website at cherrywary.com. That is where you can also get more information about who I am, what I do, and also stay connected as well. So make sure that you also like, share, and subscribe to be able to stay up to date with other videos that I will be posting as well. I do plan to have another video coming out in the next few days on a different topic. So if you have liked and subscribed to my YouTube channel, or if you are connected with me on LinkedIn and turn those notifications, you will not miss those updates. All right. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing week. And I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye.